There you go. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order for the Municipal Airport Authority. We'll start by taking the roll.
Shawnee. Here. Ekman.
Here.
Cosgrove.
Here.
Bergen. Here. Bird.
Here. And then we'll take a motion for approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Is there a second? Okay. Move the second to approve those minutes. Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, as many are in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimous. Then we'll take up the approval of the order of the agenda. So is there anything that anyone would like to move on the agenda or
Mr. Chair,
add?
I'd like to move number 3, number 6, and number 9 to the regular agenda.
You'd like to move 3, 6, and 9 from the consent?
To the regular agenda.
Okay, so we'll just pull those off and take those individually.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, you have a conflict, so we'll pull off number 7 also.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Anything? I guess we'll just look at the rest of the agenda, the regular old business, et cetera.
Can I make an addition to old business? Could we get an update on the liquor license, on the FID signs, and then also, I think
What was the sign?
the FID signs are the airport information signs adjacent to the arrival and departures, just looking for an update. And then I think we should probably have a contract with the owners of the biplane that's going to be hanging in our atrium as far as like insurance and per our new art policy.
Okay, could you say that again so it's clear?
So we have that biplane that's going to hang in
What?
the new ticketing area. And we approved its placement, but per the new art policy, there's questions that I think we should have regarding insurance and how long the family is going to allow us to have it. Like, there should be some sort of agreement.
Okay. Anyone else or anything else? Okay, is anyone in favor of the order of the
We don't have a
agenda?
motion.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the order?
I so move.
Okay, seconded.
Second.
Any further discussion? We have a motion first. Further discussion?
In a second.
Okay, so just to recap that, we're going to pull 3, 6, 7, and 9 off the consent agenda, and we're going to add under old business liquor license, airplane information signs, and the biplane insurance. Okay, we need a roll call vote on that. Okay, we'll just take a voice vote. As many in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, let's take the consent agenda up as amended. Is there anything else that anyone would like to pull off the consent? Anything else? Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve?
Move first.
For a second. For the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, as many are in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Shawnee. Yeah. Ekman.
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, so let's take the items that we pulled off the consent agenda first. So number 3. Those are the events we're attending. I would guess, is there?
My question was just, some of these are like involve travel to Kauai, et cetera. Before we just approve, it'd be nice to know how many people were approving to travel. How many?
So it's up to the board. I plan to attend because I'm on the committee that meets out there and I only do the registration. AAA pays the rest for me.
Okay.
But anybody can go. That's up to the board.
I think that was just my question is, if we're approving something, I think it would be helpful to know if it's one person or 5 people or.
Yeah, we could probably get a copy of what we've done in the past. So we've gone, kind of thing.
I think it's just helpful when we're saying, approve training and travel and accommodations and the whole, if we just so we're careful about, or so that we're knowledgeable how much money we're approving. That's all.
Okay. So is there something you'd like to do?
Well, I just think when we're asked to approve expenditures, we should know how much it is. And I think when some of these conferences probably involve the fee to attend the conference, the travel, the accommodations, et cetera. So we're always careful with how much money we're spending. And we're being asked to approve without really knowing how much it costs or how many people are attending. That's my comment.
Sure. So I guess what my question is, right now, we have, I guess this would be for us to vote to go to these and attend these.
Yeah, I have no problem with people attending. I just thought it would be wise to know what kind of money we're talking about or how many people are attending.
Yeah, could we just put a estimate of cost? Each one would be fine.
Well, this should really be part of our overall budget that we're not really completed with. So everything here that's in 26 should be in our current budget.
Okay,
What would not be in our current budget would probably be this last one, 27. So I think, they're all good questions. I'm just trying to boil it down, figure out how to do it. I think I'm assuming the 26 things were already baked into our budget. We should look when we're finalizing the 27 budget, what are we allocating, how many people, that type of thing as we go forward.
appreciate that. Thank you.
So why don't we keep that in mind for our budget discussion, which will probably be next month.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so let's, is there a motion to approve number 3 then, as we have it? We need a roll call vote on each of these.
Move to approve. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Further discussion? Okay, let's take, go ahead and take a roll call vote.
Shawnee?
Yes.
Ekman?
Yes.
Oscar?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Number 6, approve contract with TL Stroh Architects for parking. I think you want to pull this off.
Yes, the reason I did is that under our contract with Mead and Hunt that was signed 11/6 of 2024, the scope said included signage exterior. The Mead and Hunt team will generate an exterior wayfinding signage plan and signage design, including short and long-term parking, terminal drop-off, et cetera. So I don't know if the $7,500 for design services is replicating something that we've already paid for.
It's not, this is in the parking ramp only.
Okay, and there's already some wayfinding in there, so,
It's not adequate.
okay. All right,
So this is really
Thank you.
separate and different from the other way.
Totally nothing to do with Mead and Hunt.
and then there's, and then just one more quick question regarding that. I've got something here from Mary at Mead and Hunt, and it says, number 7, parking garage exterior vehicular pedestrian directional, $132,000. Parking garage wayfinding, $102,000. And then parking garage lobby graphics, $30,000. So maybe, Mary, could you speak to that?
Chair Berger, are you okay if I speak to that?
I'm sorry?
Are you all right if I speak to that?
Sure.
It just
Okay.
feels like there's a lot of money bouncing around.
That is for the actual signage, not for the design services. So those 3 items are the actual, implementation of the design. So it's the construction. Design is separate, and that's what the design is for. And this would be with TL Stroh because it is the parking garage. If it was part of the terminal project, it would be with Mead Hunt.
So were funds, Mary, allocated then for parking garage wayfinding? Here this says the design fee is 102. And then we've got parking garage exterior, vehicular and pedestrian directional for 132.
That is not design, that is everything all together. So it's, I'd have to look at that specifically to tell you exactly what it is. But the dollars there are for the implementation, the construction, not for the design.
So is that then, so is what we're being asked to approve today, the 12,000 and the 7,500, is that in lieu of this?
The
Or is it in addition
7,500 is
to?
not for this project. That's for Apron, I believe.
It's a taxi lane extension.
Taxi lane extension is
That's the
number
75.
9.
Correct. So the 12,000 is a contract that TL Stroh would hold with Adel Environmental to design the parking wayfinding inside the parking garage.
Okay, so this is really complicated, confusing, and we don't have time to get in the weeds here.
Okay.
I would say we can hold this till next month, and we should have a breakdown of what the design fees were for wayfinding, what the actual physical cost for wayfinding for the terminal, for the parking, just so we can see that big picture.
Sure.
Now, is that, I guess the question is that affect anything if we hold on that?
And it's a TL Stroh contract. I don't know if Joe is here.
Yeah, sorry, we were just talking about number 6 on the consent item. And it was like, there's some questions on, you know, what are we paying for the physical piece? What are we paying for the design? What's the difference between the parking ramp, the terminal, kind of everything. And like, we just kind of recap that stuff.
Now, Terry's contract is to get it together so it goes out for bid.
Yeah.
This is the design, then he's gonna go out for bid. That's the estimate. It's very simple. There's nothing complicated to understand.
And maybe what we should do is go ahead and approve this to get it out for bid, but then pull all that stuff together so we can look at it.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second to approve the $12,000 contract for Stroh. And I think we'd also like just kind of a recap next month on as it relates to design and actual physical costs of the wayfinding.
And Mr. Chairman, the 120 that was originally in the contract, and the 12, how did they overlay or what's what there?
I think we'll try and pull all that out and get together.
That's
Otherwise,
what I'd like to
this
see.
is going down a rabbit trail. But yeah, we just want to make sure we're not duplicating efforts and payments and that kind of stuff. So any more discussion on item 6?
No.
Okay, now we'll take a roll call vote on 6.
Yes.
Bye.
Osgood.
Aye.
Burgum.
Aye.
Aye. So we'll move on to number 7.
Mr. Chairman, number 7, I have a conflict. My wife is a senior vice president of Dakota Bank, so I would abstain from that vote.
Okay. So you want to just abstain from voting?
Yep.
Okay. I think in the governance model that we haven't approved, part of that is disclosing those things and for the board deciding whether or not it's an appropriate self-interest. But we'll just, if you want to just abstain, we'll do that. So is there a motion to approve number 7?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, I mean, we had a chance, Sean and I had a chance to go through this. It really relates to when you're financing a building, the bank wants a stronger position. And we don't really see this as an issue for us long term. Any further discussion? So now we have a motion to approve and a second. Now we'll do a roll call.
Shawnee.
Yes.
Beckman.
Aye.
Osgood.
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Let's go to 9.
This is the design services for the North GA taxi lane extension for the hangar that was approved at the previous meeting for subsurface and Tonheim. This is the design fees to extend that taxi lane and hopefully get that done yet this year.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know where that taxi lane was.
Move to approve.
Andrew,
Second.
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 Andrew moved and second. Any further discussion? All right, take a roll call vote.
Shawnee?
Yes.
Beckman? Parker?
Aye.
Roden?
Okay, moving to the regular agenda. Maybe I'll turn over to you, Sean. You can introduce Shannon or back.
Before I introduce Shannon, just make an announcement that I do plan to retire December 31st of 2027. It's been a long run, but plan to help the board with whoever they decide to replace me with and work with that transition, introduce that person to people around town, local, regional, and on the national level, and went from there. But Friday, December 31st of 2027 would be my last day. Move into retirement. That's fine. So with that, Shannon is here. Shannon Shell, with respect to Merrimed, it's a business that's located in the South General Aviation area. A little history on my part with that is, so the company was started by a gentleman I went to high school with down in Wheaton, Minnesota. His name is Rod Alstein. Started here in the East Terminal building many, many years ago, then moved the business back to the hometown of Wheaton, Minnesota. Changed ownership a couple of times, and then when Dean Atchison purchased the business, he contacted me and we worked with him and negotiated a deal to bring it back to Fargo. With that, I'll turn it over to Shannon. So
Thank you, Sean, and thank you for having me today to give a quick overview of Spectrum Aeromed and just a little bit about what we do. Going to just take you through a little bit of the history and show you some of our product and talk a little bit about our reach globally. So go ahead to the next slide. Just fine right here. Am I here? Should I go to the front? Doesn't matter. Good here? Okay. As Sean mentioned, we were founded in 1991. We're located on the east side over at the East Terminal. We also have an office, a sales office in Germany, and we have a sales office in Tennessee. We're ASO 9100 and ISO 9001 certified, and we are global, which you'll see in the upcoming slides. Our mission is to save lives. I mean, every product that we build is going into a aircraft of some type to help save a life. What we do, we are a solutions provider. Yeah, we manufacture the equipment goes in there, but we develop solutions for all types of situations, whether it be rotor wing, fixed wing, and now drones as well. We have turnkey aircraft interiors and medical system conversions, and we do all the design, certification, the support, and the manufacturing right on site here in Fargo. And we work with completion centers, namely here, Fargo Jet Center. We do a lot of work with Fargo Jet Center in doing the installation of our equipment. We do not do the installation, but we will coordinate all the installation of the equipment. We work with air ambulance operators, hospital systems. We work with energy companies, offshore drilling, a lot of government around the world we work with, as well as heads of state, and then a lot of different OEMs, whether it be Boeing, Gulfstream, Bombardier, Textron. We work with all of them directly on putting our equipment in their aircraft. Next slide. Just real quick to see the scope. We are in over 99 countries as far as where we've delivered our equipment, where it's operating. All the blue is where we're located. So there's not a whole lot of us, a whole lot of countries still for us to fill, but we're working on it. There's some that we'll never go to probably, some sanctioned countries, but for the most part, we're global around the world. We're certified in over 270 aircraft types, and we support operators, like I said, worldwide. And everything, again, as I mentioned, is manufactured right here in Fargo. Next slide. These are basically our main systems we use. Up in the top left, the 2800 series, that's our bread and butter stretcher system that we use in a majority of our aircraft. Next to that, the 3200, that's a custom. Those are all custom made. Everyone is a little bit different, but we can manufacture anything for any aircraft, and then work with the FAA to get it certified or the other approving bodies. On the bottom, the articulating stretcher is mostly in our rotor wing support. And then the Infinity 5000X, that's our newest stretcher system. And it's more of a high-end system for, I guess, we don't want to put the same system 2800 in a King Air. It's going to go into a Global 8000. So we want a system that's a little bit nicer, but still is also, meets the needs of the medical team. Next slide. There's a picture there. It's not loading for some reason, but basically our patient loaders. We have the loaders that go up and down. We have to get the patient in a smaller aircraft. It's not, you don't need a loader, but in the taller aircraft, you need an electric loader to get the patient up and keep them level. So we have a patient loader. I'm not sure why that didn't load, but, and then we also developed the stretcher bridges and the mounts to support the equipment. Just another of the different OEMs that we work with. We have STCs, FAA STCs. We also work with EASA in Europe. We work with Transport Canada and ANAC in Brazil. Next. Not sure why that's not loading. You can go to the next slide. Just pictures of what we do. That's the articulating stretcher in the Bell 429, and then the other picture is supposed to be the 2800 system in a 145 helicopter. These are a couple of the other, I guess, unique things that we do. On the left-hand side, our stacker system, where for a lot of military operations, they put multiple patients in an aircraft. And then on the right-hand side is a palletized solution where that pallet can go in and out of, obviously, large aircraft, C-130, that type of aircraft, but those can be used worldwide in a lot of different applications, and they make it very easy to turn a cargo aircraft into a medical hospital. Next slide. This is one of the aircraft that we did here with Fargo Jet Center for Polish Air Rescue, a Lear 75. And you can see the interior of that aircraft, and the medical director for the Polish Air Rescue, made the comment that's the best, aircraft that he's worked in as far as having the setup and the having everything set the way that that they needed it for the medical transports. Next slide. This is our latest project that we're working on. It's for a Middle Eastern customer. 2 of these aircraft that are going to be all custom made. These are our 3200 systems. This is a rendering. This isn't the actual picture, but we're developing those for a Middle Eastern customer. And this aircraft can go from LA to Middle East nonstop. So we're developing that interior as we speak. Next slide. Just a little bit about our partnership with Fargo Jet Center. They're our key authorized installation center. We do a lot of work with them over the last decade, over 35 aircraft. Doesn't seem like a lot over a decade, but each one of these installs can take anywhere from 2 months to a year, depending on the complexity of it. So we're doing on average about 3 a year with Fargo Jet Center. I think we currently have 2 projects over there right now that we're working on. And what we like to, say what one of Fargo Jet Center's salespeople, Darren Hall, accompanied me down to Brazil a few weeks ago. We went down on a trade mission with the U.S. Trade Commission, and we're able to present to the Brazilian companies down there. So Darren gave a presentation on Fargo Jet Center, followed up by, I gave a presentation on Spectrum. So we work closely together. Next slide. And just a little bit about what we do in the community. We work really closely with NDSU, with the other schools in the area, with Morehead State on internships. Over the last several years, we've had over 48 internships at our location here in Fargo. 8 of those have turned into full-time hires. We use that opportunity to bring in people for engineering, accounting, design, sales, marketing. Anything that we do, we look for opportunities to bring in students. This fall, we're going to be doing capstone projects with both NDSU and UND for their senior design teams. And we attend their career fairs And, we look for opportunities, again, just to partner with the schools. That's where we get our best talent. I think that's the last slide. So just wanted to give you all a quick overview of what we do. Again, we're located over Hangar 9, I believe it is, and on the east side of the airfield. And appreciate being here on the airfield.
Awesome. Any questions for
Any
Shannon?
questions?
I would just like to say, what can the airport do to help your business? Are there anything that we can do to help you grow or?
I think not a lot that I offhand. I think the relationship that with Sean helping allowing me to come and speak today. I've only been with Spectrum for about 8 months now. I joined at the beginning of the year. Prior to this, I did run an air ambulance company for 7 years, so I was familiar with the product and the industry. So, but if there are things that I could ask the board for, I definitely will bring them up. At this time, I think we're good. We are going to be doing some additional expansion. We are growing pretty significantly. So I know Sean and I spoke to him when I met a while ago about adding additional space where we're at. We do like our location. We like our setup, but we are going to need to expand at some point. So at that point, I will have an ask. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Number 11, we'll receive and approve June financials. Tana?
I'll make it really quick today. The finance update is in your package, starting on page 42. As we have said every month, it's just an update on the operating performance. Right now, we are tracking ahead of budget because improvements are also tracking ahead of budget. And so the month, the year-to-date, the budget is, and everything is listed in your packet. One thing I did want to point out, on recommendation and request of Chair Berg last month, he would also like to see a working forecast. Because our budget is just our budget. We approve it, that's what we think we're going to spend, we think we're gonna earn. But going forward, I think every quarter I'm gonna provide a working forecast that we're gonna go off of. That will give us a better indication of where we're gonna expect to land for year end. Because employments are starting to come in higher, the new rates and charges model took effect after last year's budget. There are quite a few fluctuations within the budget. And so going forward, every quarter at least, you will see a working forecast in there as well. Passenger traffic trends, I just mentioned they are going up. For June, the employments were almost 51,000. So we're still tracking about 3.1% higher than last year even, which is great. Net revenue per employment, parking revenue per employment, cost per employment, we're all tracking. The net revenue is tracking higher, the cost per employment is tracking lower than the industry average, so everything is sitting good there. One thing I know that you guys like to see is the parking ramp occupancy, which we can expect it to go down in the summer, and May and June, it has been in the 50%. But I do remind you that while you're looking at parking and parking income and parking compared to budget, also make sure you refer to the line with the churro and the Lyft and the Uber. Because right now we're at almost 100,000 for the year on those dollars as well. And so even if you think the parking might be low, please take into account that we also have the income from those other sources as well. Project summary, the terminal expansion is on track, parking ramp is on track. You are going to see next month that our $40 million loan with the Bank of North Dakota, we have been requesting funds from that as needed, and we have hit the $40 million limit. So you'll see a recap on that for next month. Do you guys have any questions about the financial part of it?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Tana, real quick, go back to your first slide there, your first summary slide.
Okay. First slide.
one right before that. No, okay. The next item would,
Which one you're looking for?
this one right here.
Okay,
You make it a little larger so we can see it.
Next item on our agenda is the budget. And I'm gonna suggest that maybe we have a short workshop on the budget instead of trying to do it, in a meeting like this. We take an hour and kind of run through it, but you know what I'm gonna say.
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Again, we've really underestimated revenue and overestimated expenses, which has consistently been done over the years, which renders our budget kind of wonky. And this year, we're projecting, 9.5 million of net income versus what we were, about 5 million over.
It will be about 3 million, and then, yes, and that is due to employments, which are hard to foresee. We don't overestimate employments.
Yeah, no, and again, I'm just saying, with this information, I would like to have a little workshop with the budget and see how we can draw this information into the budget. Because again, we're gonna go to the city and ask them for 2 mills for 1.8 million, $1.9 million. And the question we've got to answer is, we've got unexpected profits of $3 million. So, what are we doing here?
What I'd like to say, kind of my thinking, I should have led with this, but I want to appoint Brooks to work with Tana, kind of dig through this, look at what's our trend, where we're at, and then in September, bring kind of that budget before us. And then if there's some issues that should be determined by a board, hopefully they can be broke out. And so I think anyone that wants to participate in that, just let Sean or Tana or Brooks know. But we want to, I agree. I think we want to, have a budget that we put some time and effort into and we understand. And then going forward throughout the year, as a board, we want to know if we're off budget or not. And, be able to keep rolling like that. So that's.
No, and I'd love to, like I said, spend a little time rather than trying to do it in the meeting like this. But we're adding 4 new gates. We could even split our budget. We could have a stretch budget that said, here's what we're trying to obtain, trying to get there. But each year, we're consistently showing these, and it's nice to say, hey, we beat budget and we've got more revenue than anticipated, but we also need stretch goals to really grow and do the things we want to do.
Sure.
That's my only comment here. And I know
No, that's all right. And I just wanted to reiterate, which I have before, the operating budget is the daily operations of the airport. So when our revenue is exceeded, that does not affect our capital budget. Where our capital budget benefits is the money that's in excess in our operating fund, we do transfer to the capital fund, which allows us to everything before, our projects begin. And as you know, we have about $100 million projects coming up in the future. So the more money the airport can have to contribute to our share, along with the other entities who contribute.
Yeah, I'm just saying, as we're asking for tax dollars each year, when we're generating our own surpluses and adding that capital, and let's talk about our tax levy being dedicated to capital projects, not operations.
Absolutely.
So we're taking operation money, moving it into capital, and so that we should be able to explain that.
Yep.
Okay, so number 11 is receive and approve the June financials. I think I got a little ahead of myself on the budget, but is there any other questions on the June financials? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Move to.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Further discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Hickman,
Aye.
Osgood,
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye. Motion carries. And then on the draft budget, number 12, I think on the, just the budget, I wanted you each to have a copy of it, but the idea would be that Brooks and Sean and Tana will work through this during this month and present something. And I think if anyone wants more detail, but try and, again, that those issues that should be a decision, we can make those at the next meeting. Brooks, do you have any comments on that or any thoughts?
No, I think it's a good plan.
Okay, there were two sub-items there. Do you want to mention those, Tanner or Sean?
Yeah, so the two items on the budget, like Rick said, we're having a budget meeting. The budget will need to be finalized at the September board meeting. But there are two changes moving forward. The first big change, I asked that you refer to your packet, page 77.
I think you can just give a high level on those, because
Yep.
they're kind of a win-win deal, and
Yep.
we'll dig into it.
Yep, and 81 and 82 just show the additional costs that we will be asking to put into the budget. So just make sure you revise those and take a look at those costs from the Arts and Amenities group. The other thing, and the only thing that I do need an approval from the board on today would be regarding the North Dakota Health Insurance. We would like to offer our employees a high deductible health plan. And so I would like the board to approve an option to offer high deductible health plan to the employees, with the airport contributing $50 per employee to the HSA when they do sign up for that plan. We will still be offering the traditional health insurance plan as well, but this way employees will have the option to pick between low and high. And it actually ends up being a projected savings for the airport as well, even with the $50 a month HSA contribution.
Move to approve.
I have no problem with this.
Let's take the motion first, a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Is this just for the health plan or, okay,
It's just for the health plan for the 2027.
And John?
Yeah, just, health insurance is a big part of our compensation package. And if we could just make sure we're still kind of tracking with other counties, city, that I don't mind the option here. I just want to make sure that we're keeping up with or tracking in that same area. So all I'd like to see here is, I think we can prove this, but just want to make sure we're still paying, I think, more than what would be sort of public market. But
Well, we're part of the North Dakota
Yeah.
Public Health Insurance and Trust, so we have a lot of employees from schools, cities, everything in that pool, which does bring down the rates. So the
no,
rates
no,
are very.
I'm talking employer share that we're tracking.
Oh, the employee share.
Yeah.
That amount will not change.
Yeah.
The employees will
It's
still
just that
have a share.
we're staying within sort of market range there. The only thing I'd like to see there.
Okay.
That's all I have. It's just that if somebody could make and approve the motion to offer the plan, that would be great.
So we have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Just to approve the high deductible plan. We'll just take a voice vote, I think. Or what do you think, Joan?
I think we will.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Roll call for some
Yes.
more discussion.
Aye.
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 Okay. We'll move to item 13.
This is the RFP for professional employer organization services that Pro Resources is currently doing. So it's in your packet. It'll be advertised here soon through the forum, social media. The primary places that we would advertise.
Mr. Chair, I think we skipped over the second portion of number 12, and at the bottom it says they're looking for approval of a phase 2 allocation.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Okay,
Let's deal with this and come back.
okay.
So I guess, this is something we want to do in RFP for these different things. And so I think the question would be, does anyone have any questions on this, or
Mr. Chair,
John?
Hannah or Sean, what are we spending on this approximately right now?
You know, combined between ARP and I get paid based on a percentage of payroll each.
Yeah, just ballpark what we're spending.
It's under 70,000.
Yes.
And I think at one time the city provided us those services. We have,
Not necessarily all of them, but most of them.
but I'm just, if that's still a possibility, I don't know. The city won't respond to an RFP.
No.
Wasn't that a percentage of something? The city charges for overhead items
Yeah, they were well over $100-some thousand
combined, though, that was IT, human resources.
Some of that.
So this one's about 70,000, just on
Just
its
for
own.
payroll, safety training, all the HR.
Yeah, no, I just go back, and I know we made that change, but yeah, I'd just be interested if the city had any interest in providing that, what that might look like again, as these individual contracts start to kind of creep on up.
I think we already crossed that bridge with the MOU and so forth.
And I think we could ask the city what, if they have an interest in providing those services.
I think they can submit on our RFP. I imagine they'd be
No, they
excited
aren't
about doing
they
that.
aren't gonna do that,
I
but
don't know.
Take a big step back in terms of benefits that our employees are currently getting.
Michelle, there's 70 grand. If you guys want to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. I think this is like, there's a timeline on page 86, taking this out. I think the other RFPs, we took some time to look at them a little deeper. And the question is, do you want to just go with this, or someone want to take some more time to dig into this a little bit more?
I think we can go ahead with it. I just think that we should, cities are our major partner, and just keep those channels open.
Sure. So do we need a motion on this?
Yes.
Okay. Paula?
The only one thing that I noticed going through that is not included is any opportunity to explore an employee review type of plan. And if this is the service, are we limited to not including that potentially?
Part of their HR services.
Yeah, I'm looking under the, yeah. I mean, employee background checks, discipline, compliance, so. But I don't see review anywhere.
It's all part of the HR process.
Okay,
It's all encompassed.
just wanted to cross the Ts.
Yeah, we probably should have started with a motion, I guess. Is there a motion to approve this? Okay, second.
Second.
Okay. Right, further discussion? Further discussion. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
Shani, Ekman,
Yes.
Osler, Burton,
Let's back up to that 12 arts and amenities. Let's see.
I believe it's on page 81, 82 in the packet.
Ivy's on fine.
Okay, all right. So what is, I guess the first thing, the question is, what is the decision we're looking to make here today? Okay. So let's go ahead with a phase one kind of update, or go ahead. Well, so you're really looking just to update us on phase one, and then you can get a decision on a budget allocation for 2027. Any questions on phase one? Okay, thank you. So I have a question, Ivy, of the 100,000 we spent in 2006, how much of that is covered by sponsorship? Okay. So just again, we've got a lot of stuff on our agenda today, so I don't want to cut you off, but I also want to make sure we deal with the issues here. And I think, and again, my understanding is that we were going to raise several sponsorship dollars, and that would then offset, these dollars going into art. And so I think, when you say, 375 to, or 275 to 350 for the 2027 budget, I think part of that is subject to raising the money from the sponsorships. And so I just want to make sure that we're clear in that, how that process is going to work. Dean.
I may be on the same point you're making. On phase two, I'd be a lot more comfortable with it if reducible through sponsorships be a requirement, not just an aspiration.
Chair Berg, if I go back to our arts and amenities contract that was where we allocated $212,000, one of the scope items is that the nursing room, play area, departure lounges, sensory room, $1 billion company banners, that was to be under sponsorships, and that has not come to fruition. But then you go back to just trying to, be this peer airport, and that, like Ivy had said, this is sort of a correction, that money was never included in our budget to start with for any art at all. And so a typical numbers would be like 1%, 1.5%, 2%. So that would be like 1.2 million. So this is very, very conservative to basically get our foot in the door.
Other discussion. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the phase two allocation.
So what is your motion? I guess I'm unclear on what the ask is. Is it 275 or 350, or is it a range, or? This is for the 27 budget, correct? So really, this is, in my opinion, not something that we need to take a motion on now, but we're going to vote on the whole 27 budget in one packet. So and we can vote on it now.
So I'm just looking at the requested action, which says approve a 2027 phase two allocation of 275 to 350, reducible through sponsorship, and released only as the board approves specific artwork.
So what's your motion? If you want to make a motion, go ahead. But I think you should have a specific number, or you're just saying that.
Should we split the difference and go like 315? So you've got a specific
It's your
number?
motion, whatever you want to do.
I'm just going with this one. Like, what's the requested action? Approve a 2027 phase two allocation of.
Okay, so you're saying that the motion would be allocate between 275 and 350, reducible through sponsorship, and release as the board approves specific artwork. So it's not required that the sponsorship, but if there is sponsorship, that would reduce it.
Right.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion, but I do have a question.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah. Who's in charge of soliciting sponsorships? Where does that lie? Kind of seems to keep bouncing. Is it your job?
I mean,
Where are we?
I mean, we kind of have the art committee. You know, it's a little bit, I would say, unclear from governance how this should be done, but the Arts and Amenities Committee, I think, Paula, you're on that, right? There's no other board members on that.
Right.
You're kind of working through that. So I think the idea is they would bring recommendations to us on the board, and we would vote for them or against them. That's my understanding.
I mean, after all our discussion on machinations with Clear Channel was trying to claim a commission on sponsorships, but nobody's really stepped forward and said, we're going to do
One group put
sponsorship.
together, Sarah's here, I believe, right, Sarah? So they put together the sponsorship package that was publicly advertised. Really no takers for it. Madison has taken that now that there's actual pictures of the space that can be sponsored and has updated that information. The Art and Amenities Committee needs to confirm that the amounts that are being requested each month, like $1,500 a month for 5 years for a certain space, as an example, is that the right amount to ask?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that somebody's got to put together a plan to promote and sell sponsorships. You don't just say, hey, we've got sponsorship opportunities. And I don't know who that is or what committee, but we should assign it a home.
Well, I think it's a collaborative effort, right? It's not just Sarah or just Madison. It also includes our administration. I believe you just met with one potential sponsor.
I had a discussion with Sanford last week, and they get 50 requests a week for sponsorships system-wide. Wasn't
I think
really positive.
Yeah, the challenge is, it's easy to sit here and say we'll get sponsors to do it. You're not going to get sponsors unless you have a very professional, organized effort to do it that's clear and they find the value in what they're doing. So I guess that's my thinking. I don't think there's anyone that's responsible that we don't have sponsorships. I don't think I've really made anyone responsible for it or agreed to pay them or agreed to those things. So I'm personally, before we, again, keep going down this road for $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 every year in the arts, I think it's important to get sponsorships because that kind of validates kind of what we're doing and the support from that. So that's my only concern is I think, obviously there's a connection with these other rooms, but I think there's also that connection a little bit with the art too.
I agree.
So, so again, from my perspective, I don't necessarily support this motion now. I think we should take a vote on it, but then that will provide input into our budget as we go forward.
Also, it should be a collaborative effort. And so if a company reaches out and says, we'd like to meet with you, then we should respond positively to that and look at it as an opportunity instead of closing the door. Or not showing interest, which I think has been done in the past as well.
Mr. Chair, I can support this motion because we're just identifying a range of dollars and we're asking for them to come back to the board to be approved. And with that, we could have understand if there's any sponsorship dollars also funding it. But somehow, I don't know who it should be, but we should have a point of contact for sponsorships that is following through. And I think we can do that with this motion as it's set up. We've got a range. We know where we are.
Other discussion. Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Rashani?
No.
Hickman?
Aye.
Osgood?
Aye.
No. Okay, motion carries. think from our discussion though, the way that motion we just passed has nothing to do with sponsorships. It basically said sponsorships come in, that would reduce that cost. So if we think that we want sponsorships to drive that, we should maybe have another motion that says we expect that funding to be offset by sponsorships.
Chairman Berg, just one quick comment. I have a little different viewpoint. I think artwork in a project like this is like absolutely fundamental to the aesthetics. As fundamental as everything else we do here, from tiling to, wall covering and all those things. Is there a possibility when Tan and I spend some time in the budget that, is that part of the process that you think this should go, where we spend some time in the budget and we look at 2027 and see if, that's something that can stand on its own, and maybe we come back to the board and have a discussion from that perspective?
Sure, if you want to take this and.
Well, maybe we could include that in the discussion and see what the budget looks like and see where that could fit in.
Yeah, I think our challenge as a board, we all want to look nice, we all want to be wow, we all want to be perfect, but it's kind of like it's always in the eyes of the beholder.
Sure.
So I think as we take this on as a board, we're kind of into something that we probably shouldn't be dealing with. We should rely on others to do that. But yeah, I think the motion passed, so unless there's some other motion, we'll move on.
Mr. Chair, I just think that makes sense, and perhaps we could have staff recommend a sponsorship program, just identify, as we kind of said, we've got some marketing in there. Is there a program to move forward with sponsorships? We do have a placeholder for dollars there. So.
Okay, let's move on the agenda. We're on number 14, I believe.
Yeah.
So update from Mead and Hunt on terminal expansion modification, approval of business furniture options, and approval of canopy.
Good morning. So airport update, McGuff is on schedule. The work continues in baggage claim with painting, and then ticketing and escalators near the Skyway. In the west renovation, ongoing MEP, drywall, and painting. Ticketing phasing is on schedule, and we're continuing coordination with McGuff and Mead and Hunt and the airlines. And then landscaping is in progress. Our landscape architect is monitoring plantings due to the heat, just to make sure that everything is thriving, and working on some irrigation work to make sure everything's getting water. So that's the airport construction update. Gina, I think, is online, and she'll do a discussion on the business furniture. Yes.
Can you expand it a little bit? Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just, I want to get clarity here. So what are you recommending? Are you recommending, because both of these are changes from our original plan, correct? Furniture plan? Okay. And so option one is what? So how many of those are you proposing? How many of
6.
those are you proposing? And then option. Okay. And option two would be the more full closure. Okay, so of those two options, what are you recommending? Okay, okay, okay. If you're not recommending something, go to Commissioner Ekman. Question?
I think the reason that this came to us today is that our original furniture budget that we approved was to include pods. So there was already pods in our furniture budget that we approved. And so there was a substitution that, in my opinion, doesn't seem to be close to providing that private business traveler.
So this is what was proposed here, correct?
No, this
Just for clarity, just so I understand. So we originally had seating, it would be pods. That wasn't available, so this was proposed, what we're looking at right here.
It wasn't proposed, it was substituted really without,
Substituted.
yeah,
Okay,
without.
and so then that's where we said, wait a minute, what are the other options? And you're presenting these other options. So option three, there's no additional cost to option three, because that's,
It's already bought, it's all
it's already bought and installed.
already there. That's what was substituted.
Okay, so this is kind of like the tile. So we have all the furniture bought and we're looking at options.
Mr. Chair, I think when we look at Pure Airports, specifically, let's look at Sioux Falls. They have a whole business room with behind glass. So if somebody wants to make a call or have a meeting without the loudspeakers behind them. So, I mean, as we're looking at being a Pure Airport, we don't have a business, an area for a business traveler or somebody who wants to take a meeting or a student that would provide a little bit of privacy. The original plan was for pods that were not like enclosed, like this option, but more like that daisy chain that Gina is showing. The frustrating thing is that there was a substitution that to me doesn't seem like apples to apples, and we don't have a business solution for our travelers, a meeting space.
All right, and I'm just trying to get my mind around this whole thing. So right now we've got all the business furniture paid for the terminal. We've already purchased all this, is that correct?
That's correct. It's being used every day.
So if we go with this option 1 or option 2, then are we gonna squeeze it in with this furniture? Is there a place to put it? Or are we gonna put this furniture in storage? I'm just trying to wrap.
Mr. Chairman,
John,
who authorized the substitution? And why are we paying to fix it because it wasn't a good substitution? Yeah. Who made the decision to go to this instead of the pods? So this board made that decision? Okay, who then did make the decision? Sean saying we did, you're saying we
Included
did.
in the package that was before the board.
What we approved was a pod. Like, I think there was it, Gina, 4 pods that we had approved?
all right, let's just kind of back up here because we've got a lot of stuff to plow through today. So, we can go back but obviously right now, the issue is whether or not we want to add something to what's there. So I guess, so either don't accept option 1 or 2, or we pick option 1 or we pick option 2.
The option 2 is the best.
What is,
To incorporate that with the existing substitute furniture. That's option 2.
okay, so option 2 would have 2 of those private pods.
Correct. Incorporated with the existing furniture that was substituted. That's the best decision.
So I guess to start with, it'd be good to have a motion on what we want, and then we can vote on that.
I can make a motion for option number 2, but my question is who's gonna pay for it?
Well, we'll pay for it. I mean, it's gonna be part of our overall cost. I mean, we can figure out that later, but I think that first of all, we gotta make the decision. So is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to go with option 2. What was the pricing on option 2?
£29.
Okay. So I mean, to kind of address this cost thing, I would say the furniture package that we ended up with was that less than the furniture package with the pods. And if there was a difference there, then we should identify that dollar difference and that should apply towards this. But let's first decide what we want to do. Other discussion? Okay, other discussion? we'll take a vote on the motion to recommend this option two. Do a roll call vote.
Shawnee? Yes. Beckman?
Aye.
Osgood?
All right. So I guess the question would be to see if there was a savings in the furniture package. And if that would be, just what those numbers would be.
Yes. We'll bring that back to you. Thank you.
Okay, then we have approved painting the canopy in front of the passenger terminal.
So in the original plan, we did not do anything with the existing canopy. And then it was.
Is it painted now?
Well, I mean, it's the color, it's kind of a bluish gray color, steel, a slate gray. And the question was to have it painted to match the wall panels on the new terminal spaces, and then also looking at painting the columns at the canopy as well.
So previous to this request, there was no plan to
There was no
address
work
that
on
whole.
the existing canopy.
Darren and I, we found out like 3 weeks ago or a month ago that it wasn't gonna be painted. It's got like about 6 on like sore thumb. It has to be painted. So I'm gonna wait Terry look at it. He concurs, it needs to be painted.
It was just missed.
Terry?
Yeah, you gotta be honest, it was just missed. So they painted all the metal entryways and everything. They even painted part of the underside of the canopy. It was just missed. It was an honest mistake, missed on the plan, didn't get, and it should be painted to match all the rest of the stuff because we're painting all the stuff on the bottom. It's just, that's a drafting error is what it is.
Move to approve.
There's a second. There's a second. Maybe,
I'll second it.
okay,
This
discussion.
is just one more thing that we're left holding the ball for, to pay for things that were not anticipated, whether it be
It is
just
true.
the furniture
It
substitution
is-
or no art or whatever.
It is really true about that. It's just realistically, in the world of architecture and construction, you didn't pay for it. So, and I believe I believe there's a bit of room in your terminal budget anyway, not that that makes it better. It's just that you have a change order is something you haven't paid for. You know, you've had issues where, you know, it's a mistake and it costs you money that's different. This is just something that was missed, you haven't paid for it, so that's why it gets to be a change order.
Sure. So it wasn't in the original bid, I guess.
Correct.
Kind of going
It
to.
wasn't in
Was never-
the plans at all.
But Mead and Hunt, you're representing us with all these subcontractors, et cetera, right? So is there, I guess the question is, who would be liable for this? If there was a liability or isn't there
Yeah,
liability?
I don't believe there's liability. It's, the painting is not required for the space to be functional. It's really, it could be a maintenance item if you chose to go that direction with it, but as Terry said, we did not include it in our plans.
But everyone agrees it needs to be painted.
I think so, yeah. I mean, both Sean and I talked about it, yeah.
Yeah,
it should be
it's
painted.
time.
It'd be the
It's-
only thing on the airport that's that color.
Right, and it'll tie it all together with the new parking and the new terminal expansion as well. So, and yes, it was not included, so it is considered like an added benefit to the airport. It's not
So it wasn't included in the specifications,
at all.
correct? So
was never-
when it was drafted, the specs were put together, it was missed there.
Missed, correct.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't say it was a miss. It was just something that we did not intend to do originally. But now it's kind of that thing when you build a new space and you
Mr.
start
Chairman.
to see it next to
Mr. Chairman,
the,
Mead and Hunt's recommending not to paint it then.
I don't have a recommendation either direction. I mean,
You're saying it wasn't part of it, so
it was
that's your
not part of
recommendation.
our original plan
The
to paint.
recommendation then was not to.
If you want to word it that way, that's perfectly fine, but it's not a necessary thing, it's an aesthetic thing, and I think it will definitely tie things together, but it's not a requirement for the airport to function.
Like the lighting for 400 and some thousand was also missed. That's a requirement. This is aesthetic, just like art, that was not included.
Other discussion? Other discussion?
So as somebody who's worked on the airport for 30 years, I would recommend you paint it.
We recommend the draftsman pays for it too then? I mean, I think they're.
Probably not.
No, I mean, therein lies the issue. I mean, it needs to be
I
painted. If it's
understand.
consistent
I know
with
it's-
everything,
it's
it should be
frustrating. I
painted.
get it.
We should absolutely not be having this debate at this hour on this project.
Yeah, it
And
is what
for
it is.
$69,000 on a $200 million project, it's kind of embarrassing that this even comes to us. It kind of should be figured out. But nevertheless, we have a motion before us. Further discussion. It probably needs to be painted. Call the roll.
Shawnee? Yes.
Aye.
Okay, let's move to 15, Flint Group. Unless you had anything else, Rick? Thank you. Do not have anything else. Hi.
Sarah Bowers with Flint Group. Back in the December 2024 board meeting, we discussed a more robust way to capture customer experience and feedback here at the airport. Back then, though, the expansion was still pretty much just getting started a little bit. So we decided to table it. Now that we're getting closer again, we want to bring it back up. So I have Colin Clark here. He's with Prime 46, which is Flint Group's research arm. And he's going to discuss the proposal that's in your board packet regarding customer experience. So, Colin?
Thank you, Sarah. The proposal's in the packet. I'm not gonna go through and read word for word and give you the opportunity to look through it in greater detail, but I'm just gonna touch on the high points, and then if there's any discussion beyond that, welcome to field any questions. So the first page really lays out the value of collecting data and how you can use the data. So different things that we can look at is customer satisfaction measurement. We can identify unmet needs. We can measure service effectiveness, and the data can be used for strategic decision making. So our clients who embark on these sorts of efforts, they use the data to help with planning and decision making, but they can also use the data for reacting to any circumstances of urgency. So the approach that we're recommending here is to establish a central portal for those who are at the airport or experience the airport where they can engage and provide feedback. So it would be a very simple way for them to engage. They can engage through a QR code similar to what you do with your parking. And they'll have the opportunity to choose the area in which they want to provide feedback. And on page 2, we've outlined some different areas that are potential components that you could accept feedback for. So these aren't exclusive. It's just a list of item suggestions. So potential components could be experience with security, Wi-Fi and amenities, parking, and I know that you've got a parking component already, rental car, environment, gate area, food service and retail. The airport would have the opportunity to define what those components are and what to include in those. So in essence, if someone does want to provide feedback about an area, they scan a QR code,
They arrive at a landing page that says, which area would you like to comment on? And then we can take them into where we can ask some questions for metrics and measurement, and then open-ended response if they want to provide that. So this is going to provide you with data points. The way we intend to set it up is we would build interactive dashboards behind all of this stuff that administration would have access to. As you continue over a period of time, you'll have time series data, so you'll be able to compare prior month, prior quarter, prior year, things of that nature. Administration will have access to all of the data and dashboards so they can see how the values and metrics are changing. We would also build in components where if there's something of urgency that requires a quick feedback, we'd make sure that we established a delivery mechanism, so if there's something of urgency, it's passed through to airport administration. So that's the top line of how we're proposing to build it. A couple of things that I want to call out is, in order to make this work well, you're going to want to have a method to encourage engagement. And as we all know, many people will be very quick to express negative attitudes towards things and not necessarily so quick to express positive. In our partnership with Flint Group, Flint can build a campaign around engagement that will help encourage positive feedback as well as any situational feedback, so we can get effective net airport experience satisfaction scores, both positive and negative, and we get a net score out of that. So Flint Group, under the agreement that they have with the airport, can build that campaign for no additional cost. Am I right, Sarah? So that can be built in that manner. So it's just a matter of, from a research standpoint, we build a foundation in the background to be able to gather information, build out the dashboarding and the communications and reporting. And then you will have your data in real time, and you'll be able to use that time series data for planning and reacting to any issues that may arise. I went through that rather quickly.
Okay.
Open to any questions.
Sure. And so the Prime 46 is part of the Flint Group?
Yes.
Okay, so it's kind of a division.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're the dedicated research arm as part of it.
And then this would primarily be QR codes for passengers coming in and out.
Yep. QR code is becoming more common, but we like to also include a vanity URL for those who want to just type it into the browser as well. So we try and make it as simple as possible for people to engage. Flint Group will build a campaign around giving people reasons to engage. And of course, there's always those who have their comments that they want to share too.
Any other questions, information?
Did I hear you say there's no cost?
No additional cost of building the campaign for engagement.
Look at page 2 here. I don't know if we all have it. Prime 46. 140.
It's on page 124. So it's
Yeah.
49.
124 is the cost of
49,000.
the research feedback mechanism. And then for the engagement campaign, for getting people to engage or letting them know how to engage, signage throughout the airport and so forth, Flint Group will do that under their current.
You could start sooner than later, or start at January 1st and have the whole program roll out in time for the opening of the air terminal. So it's still, we have QR codes throughout the terminal building. Madison's going to add some more. We've updated the placement, the signage of that. Once the enclosure comes down around where the Skyway is right now, it's going to open up that whole first floor area, make it much more visible and walkable. We keep soliciting customer feedback, and this is the next step in that process to do so. We're a lot different here in that we don't have the cell numbers and email addresses of people that walk through our door. Unlike, I was at Core last week, got my oil changed. I have 2 phone calls, 3 text messages, and 2 emails to fill out a survey. So it's captured. So they're trying to get their customer satisfaction survey. We don't have that luxury like a lot of other companies do. So we're different. This is what a number of airports do across the country to solicit feedback. Just trying to increase the participation.
Other comments?
Sean, do we have the phone numbers of the people that are parking through the reservation system?
They probably do, but I don't know that it would, I can ask, Gregory's online, I'm guessing we probably do.
Okay, thank you.
That could be a source. So I'd recommend that you approve this. You can decide if you want to start it immediately, prorated, and then make sure it's up and operational for the opening first quarter of 2027.
So is there a motion?
There's one more comment. We're going through, we're gonna be going through an RFQ or RFP process with marketing as well. When is the timeline for that?
Well, we decided we were gonna wait until Madison was.
Oh, that's right, that's right,
Consider it,
in
no.
October, right, October, November.
This would complement that regardless of any firm that you pick. So.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Second. Okay, motion fails for lack of second. What's the committee's wishes? We'll put this on hold. I think the idea is, my understanding is we want to try and capture more customer satisfaction. So the question is, how do we identify and do that? I don't know. Well,
I just feel like, Mr. Chair, like we've just approved some additional unexpected expenses, and now we've got Madison, and we're hearing that she's gonna be doing a few more QR codes and feedback, and that we do have phone numbers from Greg.
let's do this. Unless, again, we took a vote. We didn't have a motion, so unless there's a motion, we'll just move on.
Okay.
So let's go to item 16. So receive lease request for West Fuel Farm.
So Jacob
Sean,
is
you wanna-
here. So Fargo Aircraft Services has requested to lease a plot of ground that is just to the south of the existing fuel farm, west of the terminal building. Fargo Jet Center has an existing fuel farm in that location. As part of their plan to do that, I shared the information with Mr. Sweeney at Fargo Jet Center and then received a letter to lease the same exact piece of ground.
Can you pull that up? Is that what you're doing, Darren?
I'll find it here.
Fargo Aircraft Services is proposing to install initially one 30,000 gallon tank and with room to add a second tank in the future. So that's what their plan is. And just to the north of that is, I don't know if we have an aerial photo. I'd send it out. Back in here. I don't know. It's kind of.
So can you go above there?
I can't, no, there's nothing on the
Do
plan.
you have a map above there?
So the Jet Center fuel tank is I've
Yeah.
got it in my hand here. I thought it was.
I just think that would be good for everyone to be able to see that. So let's look at our packet and find that so everyone sees that first. So that's like 16.
Page 128 and 129.
What did you say?
Page 128, 129. And page 131 has the aerial photo.
Probably 131 is the best.
Fargo Aircraft Services requested to build their tanks within the red square and Fargo Jet Center then subsequently sent a letter to lease that same area.
So currently, Fargo Jet Center has the tank at the top.
That's correct.
And then Fargo Aircraft Services requested to lease this raw ground to the south and build a fuel, put their fuel tank in there.
Correct.
And then Jet Center has requested that same area for future expansion. Okay. So I know we have people from both groups here. Maybe we should have, Dave, if you want to present maybe first. I know you got someone from Titan here, and then we'll have Jim present, assuming you received it from Dave first.
This is Jacob. He's in charge of the fueling more than I am on the maintenance side. We just a little input for you folks. We moved in February, and we hit the ground running with fuel and maintenance. We do about 2 tankers a day now?
2 tankers a day.
And we've outgrown our facility we have in the south end. This area up here, in order for us to be competitive for the airline contracts, we need to be there. If we're gonna have, I don't know where other places would be to build, but that's what we're looking at here. Our choices aren't very many. And I know there's other airports where people actually share fuel farms. So to me, this is an option that we have to be competitive. Jacob?
Last February, this last February, I was before you guys presenting another proposed fuel farm. One of the main key things we took from that meeting was it needs to be in accordance with your guys' policy. All the other fuel farm slots need to be filled out before we can expand to any other new locations. So in order to, and starting July 1st, we've just been awarded our first airline contract. So we've just started fueling all the airlines, United. And with our challenge season approaching winter, that comes, it'd be nice to have a fuel farm for us near terminal so we can more reliably fulfill our contract.
Okay, questions for? I mean, I think the big question is, we've got fuel farms kind of on the north side, on the south side over here, what's our capacity as we grow and where do we add? Give me.
Well, there's lots of rooms to grow. The board's policy is that the South GA Fuel Farm, the North GA Fuel Farm, and this West Fuel Farm get at capacity before any new additional sites are approved. So that is a correct statement. That goes back many, many years. So there is room in the South GA to add more fuel tanks, there's room in the North GA. And of course, as you can see in the map, there is room to expand this fuel farm on this side. This being more convenient for those that are fueling the commercial airlines. So I believe there's plenty of space there. I think there's plenty of space within the existing Fargo Jet Center footprint to add additional tanks within their current footprint to serve them many years to come. And also with the reason for, they talked about the shared fuel farms with others. Now what airports have done is they make sure that they lease the property to the owner of the tanks in case there's a leak or there's liability and so forth. So you do want to delineate an area for those that are responsible for the tank that's on the property, just for contamination purposes. State Health Department prefers that as well. But I believe there's plenty of room there now for Jet Center in their existing footprint. There should be room for them to move forward as they propose with the tanks as requested.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Didn't you want to present Jet Center? I mean, kind of the issue is here we have 2 people wanting to lease the same parcel, right? So maybe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've met before, Michael Lawrence, our Director of Line Operations. So just to give you some of the points on our position today, we've occupied this fuel farm for decades. I'd encourage all of you, when you leave here today, just stop, take a loop through and take a peek at the fuel farm itself. And I will, Sean and I haven't agreed on many things over the years, so I don't agree with Sean today, the fact that in our footprint today to expand, and when you go over there and look at it, you can see the design of this fuel farm. To get another 30,000 gallon tank in there would absolutely require more space. So what we're trying to do is be thoughtful of the investment that we'll have to make in adding on to the existing farm. For us to expand elsewhere would be cost prohibitive and not a good business decision. There's we made a significant investment on this site in recent years, more than 6 figures or into 6 figures, and that was to remove an old spill containment process and put in new updated systems. And that actually pertains to the actual city sewer grade that's over there today. So if a tank were unloading fuel and a spill occurred outside where that truck is, it's all designed now within all the standards. It meets all the standards today to contain a spill, and we made that personal investment in that location. So what we're looking for is just to have additional space to expand our existing fuel farm. If there's something to the south of that red box that you're looking at, obviously no objection. There's tons of room in the north fuel farm at the airport, as Sean and the chairman mentioned, that there's a fuel road up there that the airport authority installed decades ago, and there's plenty of room for expansion up there. Michael, did I miss anything?
I would just mention that the space that we currently occupy is engineered for spill containment. So those tanks are sitting down lower, there's rocks around that area. So any changes to that existing footprint would require that whole area to be re-engineered for spill containment. I think Fargo Jet Center has shown in the past that expansion is part of our mantra. I mean, we continue to expand. We're at capacity there right now. There is only one pump that runs that system, so we can only take a delivery or fill a truck at the same time. We can do both together. So it has been in our plans for many years to expand that so that we're allowed to drop fuel in while filling trucks at the same time. If we were to expand today, it would not be in that current facility because of the engineering costs for containment.
Okay, any questions? I mean, one of the issues would be, I imagine it's probably gonna cost $1 million plus to add another fuel tank. You know, is that something you guys are looking at doing in the next 6 months here?
Yeah, it's not $1 million, but yeah, with.
I mean, if you're gonna put a 30,000 gallon tank and improvements and stuff.
Yeah, we would expand what's there. That's the position.
And the economies of scales of doing it adjacent to pipe everything in together to utilize the containment system that we've already invested in only makes sense to do it directly adjacent.
Okay, maybe my question was just thinking in terms of the city, if they want to see development and they're going to sell a lot of times there's a requirement that they have the improvements made so they can generate sales tax more quickly. So that was kind of, I don't know, any other questions or comments?
I've got a quick question. So is Fargo Aircraft Services, is your plan to build immediately? Is that immediately? Okay. Okay.
We plan to be operational by the time we're selling.
Yeah, so maybe that'd be a good question too. What are your plans for construction? When would you develop it?
We could be underway this fall for sure.
And what would your development be there, Jim?
All right, we'll kind of ask questions through the committee. Yeah. So, any other questions for Jim? Okay. All right, thank you. So, what are the committee's wishes?
Who currently is in this space?
Jet Center.
Okay.
So I think,
Mr. Chairman, Sean, what was your recommendation?
Well, I mean, Fargo Aircraft Services asked for the space first, not that that probably hampers what Fargo Jet Center is looking to do. I guess the question now would be is what's the minimum amount of space Jet Center would need to add a 30,000 gallon tank? And then what space remains? Even though they've asked for that entire area, is that what they actually need? That would have to come from, okay, so like Jim O'Day or somebody that designs fuel farms to find out what that would be. And then see what space is left to see if there's still room for our Aircraft Services to add their tank. And the way it sounds is there would be 2 tanks being installed this fall if Jim is to reform there to do that. So if they're allowed to expand a little bit further to the south of their existing footprint, maybe not as much as what they've requested, only the minimum amount required. What's left then for Dave and Jacob to put their take in? I don't have that answer. I guess that would have to come from R&R or O'Day Equipment or somebody that deals with the fuel farm design.
Mr. Chair, I think Jim's got a comment.
Mr. Chair, thanks, Sean. Yeah, this drawing's a little bit deceiving. It's 65 feet from north to south on that red line. So we're looking just for an additional 65 feet. And that's not a lot of space when you consider, Google puts those stupid little numbers in there. So that's 65 by 100, that block. We should have made that more clear.
Okay, that changes things then. So if we go
it says
65.
200 on the map here.
Yeah, sorry, those are Google.
That's the full square dimensions if you were to measure it around a square. It's 6,500 square feet, so 65 by 100.
So it's really not that big of an
So
expense.
if they go 65 feet south, we'll have to see what's left to the south of there to make your plan work.
Well, and what space is available, I guess, is my
Entire grass area is available.
even altering the perimeter road, we have to.
Correct.
So would we be responsible for altering perimeter road, any of that? If we were to add our fuel farm in.
Correct.
Okay, let's make sure everyone understands what's your question, Sean?
If you expand that 65 feet further south, how much grass area is left for them to put their tanks in, and will that work? I mean, there's plenty of road here to do so. We won't impact the perimeter road, the only people that drive on the state doesn't have that on.
I think that's the bottom line. We've got plenty of room to provide you space there. And I think if the Jet Center is gonna add 30,000 gallon tank, we've got plenty of room for that. But we need to kind of move more quickly for your timeline. So originally this was just informational, but we thought if we could make a decision now, we would. So any more thoughts, Sean?
You can approve it subject to just working out the details with some more updated maps between their fuel contractor and then with whoever Jim is working with. Is it O'Day?
We'll get you.
All right.
So the motion would be to authorize Fargo Aircraft Services to would lease some land here for their tanks. And that would be subject to a final review showing where the Jet Center can expand.
Correct.
Okay. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? I think just with the limited land, we're gonna expect, the Jet Center to be as efficient as you possibly can with that tank. So we're not trying to preserve space. I mean, we're kind of like, I look at it, we've added 4 gates. We hope to add a lot more airlines. And at some point, we're gonna add more gates. So we need to think about this fuel farm, something that can serve a long time in the future. Okay, so the motion, Joan, do you wanna?
To approve, subject to working out the details with Fargo Jet Center for expansion and Fargo Aircraft Services for a new lease for a fuel farm.
Right. So really to approve Fargo Aircraft Services, that we're gonna lease land to them for new tanks, subject to Jet Center, accommodating Jet Center's expansion. Okay, any other discussion?
I appreciate both entities and your willingness to continue to improve and invest in our airport, so thank you, both.
Okay, men in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, number 17.
Joe Casper and I will tackle this one out. I'm gonna just give you a quick update on the Skyway. It's doing really well. We're gonna be ahead of schedule. Sometimes end of September-ish. Nothing firm in terms of an actual date, but that's the time schedule, so it moved up by quite a lot of ways. So everything's going well and looking really good. Just looked at it the other day. Joe, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, we're at the turning point on the roof. All parties are involved now, working to secure material and labor to get going. The plan is to provide a betterment underneath the entire roof, and then repair the existing.
So who's taking the cost of that?
We'll figure that out.
Okay, so it's not.
You're not.
There will be, we're sorting those details out. There will be no change order.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Passenger transportation study, Greg?
Gregory. Is Gregory still on? You share the screen? Yes.
So Brad, this is Rick. I just, we're running way behind here, so I think I appreciate you having the patience of being here for 2 hours to get you up here. Well, really, I guess the purpose of this for us is to know what are decisions that we can make from this input. And so not that you need to come up with that right now, but I think as you're gathering a lot of surveys from people that are parking, our real objective is to know what do we need to do to improve that experience. But oh, go ahead, Greg. Just good, thank you. Any questions for Greg or Brad?
Mr. Chair, I don't want to, I know we're short on time, but, and we can address this next month, but the executive summary key takeaways from June and July were that there was widespread frustration with QR code, barcode scanners at entry and exit gates, unhelpful or absent assistance lines, or double charging. And so one of the top improvement priorities, according to this survey, was fix the QR code. So I hope that that's being addressed and not ignored.
Okay. Any other questions for Greg or Brad? Excuse me?
Greg's got the next one.
19.
It's in their packet. So if you take the next one, Greg, there you go.
All right, questions for Greg? Thank you. Let's kind of move on here. I'm just kind of looking at the schedules going forward. Number 20 is really Pure Airport key performance indicators. I don't know if that's time sensitive, if we want to just hold on that for our next meeting. Also 20.
Chairman, on that, and very quickly, as we develop the KPIs, there's some things to look at. Could we do the median as well as the average in there in our KPIs, just to see what the median looks like? You also can pick up cash and equivalents, debt, and tax revenue. So
You want to add all those to the
yeah,
KPIs?
well, I want to look at them. I don't know that we're gonna see continued use of them, but let's see what they look like.
What were the three? Cash equivalents?
Cash
debt?
equivalents, debt, and tax revenue. And I think you can pick up the CAFRs to any of those airports and get that level of detail beyond the form that we're using there too.
Well, it might even be something that, John, you could meet with Tana.
Yep.
Because I think when you're working on that, all those data is kind of easy and kind of real time.
No, the data is from the CATS report, the federal reporting that all airports are required to report to one time a year. So this is the 2025 data.
Right. But if there's something that we're not reporting here, if you both have that data open and you can make changes kind of quickly to pull the different things out.
Yeah, and again, we'll look at these, we'll develop which ones we kind of see the most benefit in, but those are the ones I saw was kind of missing.
Okay, so again, we'll put that on hold. John, if you want to talk to Tana, any board member wants to talk on that. And then the 21 is really pretty cool information, but that's just the economic impact of aviation. That's going to be a communication.
August 27th at the Air Museum from 9 to 11.
So
It's on the calendar.
good. Let's go through old business then.
Nothing on the safety report, nothing to report there. Tom wasn't able to join. Dr. Brashani, did he have you to present some information?
Rick or I were going to cover it. Looking for it. Our original sold bidder, after running the numbers, was not able to make it work. Sean quickly started working on some other options, but they're, I think, not complete yet. And so the recommendation that Tom made was that we don't want to leave that space looking like a construction zone. And we're a ways away from being able to pursue another hotel proposal. So his recommendation was to go ahead and landscape it for the time being, even if we have to remove that landscaping in the future. It's a relatively modest cost, and have it look as it should in the meantime.
Well, he wasn't really looking at a motion, just that's what he was thinking.
Yeah, his recommendation is we wouldn't want to leave it as
I think we'd want to do a minimal thing there if we do. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, let's go to the property rental rate report status.
So in your packet was a preliminary report that Rick Flaxbarth put together, the one who responded to the board the last time as well. Madison's been working on contacting the small airports around. I think she got 2 more to respond yesterday. So we're still trying to get people at those small airports to respond. We haven't seen a lot of changes. But Rick is working on the final report. Hopefully it'll be available for the next meeting on the comparables for outside the fence, inside the fence type thing.
Is that based on like buildings we're renting or land rents or?
Basically land rent is the big one. What's land renting for outside the fence versus inside? He's been on vacation for some time, so we'll put that together for the next meeting.
Okay, updates on runways, 927, 1836.
Jeff is here to do 2 of them. The 927 one that Bill Bank had reported at the pilots meeting. We do have a date now for a contractor to come in and grind that elevated surface fairly soon. And 1836 was reported by the pilot for Michael Chambers. did go out and find about an 1.5-inch deviation at the north barrier pit. That's where the arresting gear used to come up for the F-16s on the north end. As you're landing to the south 1.8, his type of aircraft experienced a kind of a jolt when they crossed that barrier pit. The barrier's fine, that's what it looks like out there. I mean, it's very, very slight deviation towards the center. Jeff is working on a plan now to address that. We've engaged all of the airlines, FedEx and others. To fix that, it would require the shortening of the runway down to a length that some of the carriers may not be able to use. But,
so the fix is, this is the north end barrier, and the fix is very disruptive to the air operation. So we're just on the initial stages of engaging all the like Sean said, the airlines and the air carriers, and see what can and cannot be done to formulate a plan for construction.
So 1836?
Yes.
Yep, correct. So that's about, it's roughly 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch deviation there. And it's, that picture right there is on center line, and it's pretty consistent across the entire width of the runway. So
no one else has reported any issue. It's just based on the wheelbase of the aircraft, from the nose gear to the mains, and some aircraft respond differently, but no one else has had any issues with that whatsoever. That's going to be expensive to repair, but we're working a plan for that. But like I say, 927, hopefully Diamond Surfaces will be out. We have one other contractor to provide a bid to go out.
correct. Hopefully I should have those prices this week and then get it scheduled. They're thinking sometime in September. So 927 is a relatively easy fix. The one on 1.8, very complex. Just because of the disruptions to their aircraft operations, they cannot use 927s because it's too short, not strong enough.
The center does routinely ask pilots if they've noticed anything on departure when they come in. Everybody's silent other than Bell. We hear nothing from any of the other pilots with any concern.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then I added liquor license. Any update on that?
Sure. If you recall, at the last Liquor Control Board meeting, it was voted 5-0 to have a proposed license go now in front of the City Commission. And I believe that was on like the 13th of July. Since then, I've been working with the city to take, I think, what we started with in the beginning to try to kick the ball down the way and to work from that and see if we can put a proposed Class Airport alcoholic beverage license together that's agreeable, and then get it in front of the City Commission. So Will and I have been going back and forth, and my last red line changes I'm thinking will be acceptable. I sent those to him last week, and then I did shoot a follow-up email to him this morning to see if there was any update. Next City Commission meeting is Monday. Agenda is Wednesday, but I found that we can oftentimes sneak something in on an agenda, on that Thursday. But obviously we want to move this forward because it has to be a first and second reading and then public comment. So
your goal is to put it on the agenda tomorrow for Monday's meeting.
If Mike Redlinger does, yeah.
yeah, well, and if Will and I have to see if my proposed final changes to the ordinance or the license, are acceptable to the city. I want, to go in front of the commission where both sides are on the same page.
So the current license was assigned to the airport by ordinance. There's no charge for it other than the annual fee that the concessionaire pays. The draft here has an initial fee of $115,000. I can tell you right now, Skyline isn't going to pay $115,000 for a license. It needs to be assigned to the airport by ordinance. There's no need for that, and then they pay the annual fee. So I think that's a showstopper. If that's where the city sits, they want to charge $115,000 annual fee or initial fee. I think
So that's where we're at there.
so Commissioner Turnberg, hopefully can go back to how the original license is assigned to the airport. It's by ordinance. The airport and the liquor facility at the Air National Guard are the two that are assigned by ordinance. No charge. And you just pay the annual fee for the license. So hopefully they struck that out of there.
So I will keep pushing.
Yeah, well, it seems like there's some differences of opinions here. We should probably try and get worked out
So I don't know
before.
if it's, pardon me, confusion on the city attorney's office, or just sort of, I mean, doing the same thing that they've done with all others, and not recalling is not the right word, but the fact that this liquor license was assigned by ordinance. So that steps over that huge, but just ask for clarification and to have it struck.
Sure. Okay, so hopefully that'll get cleared out.
So on the FID sign, Madison, do you have an update on the FID sign with the,
Yes. I'm happy to report that the technical issues with the FID signs has been resolved. We have the video carousel up there highlighting all of our amenities, and we'll be adding more here shortly.
Awesome, thank you.
and I'll reach out to the family with the Curtis pusher and we'll put whatever agreement in place that's necessary to do that. So do you do the Regional Airport Authority thing?
Yeah, yeah, so backing up on the Regional Airport Authority, you know, we met with, we really haven't progressed with that. I think the county's open to hearing from us. I think there's probably quite an effort ahead to talk to all the small airports, make sure they're not fearful of this. Talk with the city leaders and, you know, West Fargo and Horace, make sure they understand it. And then, you know, continue to work with the county commission. Again, the main thrust, probably for you, Michelle, is that right now, when we bond, if we bond, it all lays on the city of Fargo. If we can spread this out over Cass County, then that bonding impact would be over the whole county, not just on Fargo. So it would free up Fargo's area.
It'd still be overlapping, Fargo taxpayers.
Yeah, there'd still be some of that there. But anyway, so that's, I guess that would be kind of an update on that. I mean, the other thing I'd like to, you know, before we get to public comment, I kind of like want to thank Sean. You know, we've been going through a lot of stuff. We've had a lot of struggles with construction and how we put it together. And, you know, none of this would be possible if it hadn't been for his leadership and being conservative and making sure we had the capital to move things forward. So I, again, want to thank you for that. I think having kind of a strategy how we move forward, and there's, you know, no one that's had more passion for the airport and wanting to make sure that going forward the right things are done and help with any transition. I just want to thank you for that, Sean.
Yeah, I second that, Chairman, also noting 35 plus years service. Fantastic.
I remember all those battles, like the battles with the city over just the airport authority and 30 years ago with the legislature. Of course, we never had those battles with the city now. Right, Michelle?
Shouldn't.
So we did have Commissioner Peterson out for a tour. He couldn't do the outside tour. He's coming back. Nikki Gullickson spent 2.5 hours here, an hour and a half more than she planned, and took her through everything. She was in all the areas around the airport. So she learned a lot and has a better understanding of the airport. So works well. We're still waiting for Mayor O'Shea to come back. He spent a couple of hours out here before the campaign. But he's trying to get us on his list to come back out and do a more in-depth tour. So at some point. The city had requested, I think Joan got an email yesterday, there's an opportunity for the board to meet with the city commission on August 26th. I know that you're gone, so we want to be there for that. We are looking for another date after August 26th to have the joint meeting between the airport authority and the city commission. We'll keep looking for dates and opportunities that you're available to meet with them. So hopefully sometime in September.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need to be there. I'd like to be there, but whatever works out best for everyone.
So we'll find a date. Joan will send out a calendar invite. We'll find out what, is it Diane Bauman? Diana. We'll get a date together.
Cool. Public comment. Any public comment?
Mr. Chair.
Yep, sure.
Yes, I'm Mike Haugen, used to be on the Airport Authority and was the Adjutant General for the state of North Dakota. And I just want to make a comment about Sean's leaving. He is currently a guest commander at the Air Guard. And I feel that this board has no one on it except for him now that understands the largest employer on this airport. The largest employer is the National Guard. There are, I venture to say, many of you don't know that there are 1,700 people assigned to this airport for the National Guard. And out of those 1,700, there are almost 500 full-time right now. So the largest and the biggest part of this facility has very little representation here. I would encourage this board to tour the Guard, learn about it, and invite someone to sit in on your meetings. I know that right now the Air Guard is extremely busy, but having Sean with the experience and now announcing his retirement, I just encourage you to find someone to understand what the Guard does.
Thank you for the invite, General Haugen, and as you know, I've toured before and participated in employer events. And I think Michelle's touring today.
Yeah, Colonel Dimitrovich is a great guy over there, and I think he's really rolled out the welcome for anyone here.
Yeah,
There's a
it's great to me.
big issue we're fighting over right now because their lease comes due. And there's a debate over whether we increase their lease from $1 a year to $2.
Yeah.
We're gonna work through that.
By the way, just Chief of Staff of the Air Force just announced the other day that with the Iran conflict, that the Reaper, which is stationed here in Fargo, was the MVP in the war.
Wow.
That's the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Not manned airplanes, right? Reaper.
Right.
From Fargo.
Well, yeah, thanks for all your service and volunteerism and advocacy for everything. I appreciate that. Any other comments? Okay.
I do have one. That a neighbor out at my lake by Fergus Falls, they called, they were going on a trip out east, bus trip. They called the airport to find out about parking. And whoever they called, and I called Joni and she gave me a different phone number, but whoever they called, that person said the parking lots are full. So they contacted my wife. My wife told me about it. I said, that's a bogus information. The parking lots are not full. So I called Joni. Joni gave me another number for them to call. They finally got through, but I'm gonna find out what number they called initially, because that's bogus information if that's going out.
Okay, any other comments? Meeting adjourned.